Good day, friends, and welcome to our Live Pure Conference 2021. I hope you're having a blessed time and you're learning a lot from the different speakers and workshops that we have. In this workshop, however, we're going to talk about why casual dating does not work. But before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Paul Lim. I am from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. For a big part of my life, I was a mission volunteer for the Live Pure movement. I am a massive chastity advocate. Likewise, I am married with, I'm blessed with one daughter. We are blessed with one daughter. I was married last year, or October of last year. And I don't think my wife is here. So let me tell you a quick story about my wife. Before we got married, we were talking about gifts. You know that part in the wedding where you kind of write each other letters and you get so emotional, and you write letters and then with the letter there's a little gift that you give to one another. So we were talking about the gifts. And then she mentioned that she wanted a label maker. So in my head I was like, why do you want a label maker? Like, it's our wedding day. Don't you want anything else? However, she wanted a label maker. So I did not get her a label maker. I didn't get it. But our friends, they're very generous, did eventually give us one. So fast forward, after the wedding, the honeymoon, and then we settled in our house, my wife got her hands on the label maker and she started labeling everything. This is the tray for cups. This is the tray for spoons. This is the cup for pens and everything. So there's like labels everywhere, which then got me thinking, why does she like to label things? Like, why is that? So let's park that anecdote for a second and let's talk about the topic at hand. Why casual dating doesn't work. Casual dating has been around for a tremendously long time. Probably maybe from the 60s onwards, and probably before then. It hides itself in different names like friends with benefits or no strings attached or the hookup culture or Tinder life or whatever it may be, right? It hides itself in a few different things. But essentially, casual dating is at the base level, it's you getting involved in different relationships without really defining any of them. And so, let's go back to the whole anecdote of the labeling things. I thought more about this, and then there's three things that we can actually learn about my wife's labeling addiction, and that is place, purpose, and person. Place, purpose, and person. Now, if we connect this with casual dating, what happened is that with casual dating, you're really just there, and there's no definition of who you are in that person's life. So number one is that casual dating doesn't work because you don't know your place in the person's life, right? You could be friends. Yes, you could be friends, but you're friends that feel like a little bit more than friends. You're friends that, do things, and it's really very ambiguous. And it's difficult. Yes, it's very difficult because by not having a place in someone's life, you are then just lost. When you're driving and you don't know the place that you're going, then you just get lost, and you just feel bad. So that's number one, is that by labeling things and by having a definition on your relationships, is that you are to know your place in that person's life. Whether you establish that you are that person's girlfriend or that person's boyfriend and you're not just hanging out and wasting time, you know that you have a place in that person's life, and that place is protected. That place is for you and for you alone, and that you will progress from that place to hopefully marriage. Obviously the goal of every dating relationship is marriage. So you know where your starting place is, and then you keep going. Much like my wife, when she labels things, this is a place for pens. So it's funny because when I put something other than what that thing is labeled for, it's a little bit of an annoyance because there's a label there. This is for here, right? So when we, get away from casual dating, we are able to put a place in someone's life that's specially for us, that is exclusively for us. The problem with casual dating is because you don't have a place in that person's life, then really it's quite ambiguous. And I feel like all of place in someone's life, and we're not just stuck in someone's ambiguity. So that's number one. It gives place. Second is that purpose. I think I mentioned this earlier, but every dating relationship must lead to marriage. The very purpose of why we date is to find that one person that we will be bounded sacramentally for the rest of our lives and be exclusive to one another. The problem of casual dating is that it moves away from that thought and it becomes all too convenient. What do I mean by this? Is that when things are too convenient and you just kind of go with the flow and there's no labels and you're just kind of going through the motions of things and you don't really talk about what you are and you're just like, you're going from one person to the other, it removes purpose from everything that you're doing within that context, right? So what happens is you end up getting hurt because you're just stuck in a cycle, right? You end up being lost once again and you end up devoiding yourself of this whole experience of having a greater purpose other than your own satisfaction, right? The problem with casual dating is it really does not give light to the progress of a relationship because you're just jumping from one to the other, and who wants to do that? So purpose, proper relationships, intentional dating, and dating with a goal really gives us purpose into why we're dating in the first place. It shines the light to this wonderful, magnificent experience of, you from courtship to dating to being engaged to getting married. Excuse me. So there's this wonderful experience that we get to really, really immerse ourselves in. And all of this is because we know that the relationship we have has a purpose. And that purpose is, for marriage. Now, I wish that this is clear to everybody and that everybody deserves a purpose-filled relationship. Purpose-filled relationship. That is a relationship where you know that this relationship has somewhere to go. You know that this relationship has a great love that you deserve and there is commitment in this relationship. Everyone wants true love, right? At a certain level, everybody knows that they deserve true love. And true love can only really manifest itself if there is a commitment to both parties, right? And for you to commit to a relationship, you need to have purpose. The purpose is so and so, marriage, dating, and your courtship. That's why it's important to really go through all these steps, because through these steps we find out our purpose at that particular stage of our relationship. Just like my wife when she's labeling things, the purpose of this tray is for cups, the purpose of this cup is for pens. There's it's purpose, and it's very satisfying to know that you as a person have a purpose in someone else's life. Right? Whether you're a boyfriend, you're a girlfriend, you're a fiance, you know that you are there to support one another, to love one another before you're married, when you're still dating, to build each other up to marriage and to make sure that you always have each other's back. And the last thing is person, right? Person. I don't know how this kind of relates to my wife's labeling things, but my wife's a person. So person. Casual relationships, sad to say that it really moves a person away from themselves. What do I mean by this? Is that when we get involved in casual relationships, we then forget to see that there is another person in the other side of that relationship. And we only merely think of them as objects, or vice versa, that the person that you are in a casual relationship with is that you are only seen as an object and you're no longer seen as a person. My friends, this is so sad. It's because it really devoids the value of humanity, of dignity, of you being a human being. And what happens is we become objects of another person's satisfaction, lust. We become objects of the other person's primal needs, or whatever the case may be. I believe that all of us deserve to be seen as people, as a person with feelings, with great capacity to love. We deserve to be seen as a person that is willing to sacrifice anything and everything for the sake of true love. That is what we deserve to be seen as. And casual relationships without labels, relationships that are kind of here and there, and whatever the setup may be, this really moves away from the essence of personhood. It's funny when my wife and I, when we got married, we I saw her totally in a new light. Not that I didn't see her in a as a person beforehand, but after we got married, I totally see this new side of my wife. That she's gonna be a mother one day, which she is now, and that this is a whole other person that I am now with. And it's a magnificent way to see really the great capacity of someone, to love and to sacrifice. Is only if we see them truly as people, as how they should be seen. Now, if we delve deeper into this, there's this wonderful idea that a person has this great purpose, or the very essence of a person, and the very purpose of a person is to love. I found when I was doing missionary work, before, one of the kids asked me, Kuya Paul, what did God do before man was created? What did God do before everything was created? And I thought to myself, I don't really know. I was honest, like I don't really know what God did, because I'm not, obviously I wasn't there, and I wouldn't know. His ways are far more bigger than my ways. I wouldn't really know. So I thought more about this, and I read some books, and I read something like this: is that we don't know what God really did, but we can for sure say that before everything was created, God loved. God loved and loved and loved. He is love. So that therefore that's what he did, is he loved. And then when we were created, this is the very essence of our creation. That God loved us so much that he willed us into creation. Therefore, my friends, we all are truly deserving of true love. The kind of love that has purpose, that has place, and the kind of love that every person really deserves. And before we end this workshop, I just want to say one thing: is that people who get stuck in casual relationships, they're not necessarily afraid of commitment, because they can commit with their jobs, they can commit with whatever personal projects they're making, they can commit to certain things in life. So a lot of people say that they just label these guys to, or girls, or all these people, that, oh, they're just afraid of commitment. But really, I think what it is that they're afraid of limiting their own freedom. Is that for some reason, when I label my relationships as to an exclusive level, that I'm limited to now what I can do, and my freedom is now taken away from me, which in fact is the opposite. Because what happens is, when we get stuck in these casual relationships, we are now trapped in this cycle of going from one person to the other to the other. This cycle of you not knowing who you are in this person's life. This cycle of you just not being able to explore the depths of your capacity to love. You're stuck. So really, by pursuing proper intentional relationships, we set ourselves free to explore our capacity to love. We set ourselves this whole wonderful experience of really pursuing how much we can love a person, how much we can sacrifice for a person, and how much the other person can love us back. So my friends, I hope today in our workshop we learned that having proper intentional relationships that progress, really gives us a wonderful place in a person's life, a wonderful purpose to why we date in the first place. And it gives us a chance to being able to be seen as a person dedicated to love, a person that is deserving of true love, and a person that is definitely willing to love. Thank you, friends. Have a good day, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference and check out all of the other workshops, and God bless.